Hello and welcome to a double stitch creations tutorial. Today we're going to be working on Barley the Bunny pencil topper. If you purchased the kit, you would have received all the yarn that you need from 100% wool, some practice yarn, your 3.5mm hook, tapestry needle, this cool little tool which is a stitch marker, and some beautiful eucalyptus hobby fill. You'll also need some scissors to go with this project, and we're working off the pattern today. Alrighty, let's get started. We're going to start with the white yarn, and we're starting with a slip knot. Okay, to make a slip knot, I always leave a tail. I wrap it around my pointer finger twice. I grab the back loop and I pull over the front loop. I get the tail and I wrap it in front of the loop that is still on my finger, and I once again grab the back loop and I put it over the front loop. And now you've got a loop that you can put on your hook. It allows you to pull tight or loosen when you need it. That's why it's called a slip knot. You don't want it too tight. You want it to be able to glide up and down your hook. Okay, in the pattern it says chain 2, so we're working on the head, our bunny's head. So to start off with, this is how I hold my yarn. You'll find your own way, but this is how I hold it to work on my project. So I get my pinky and I hook it around my finger like that. I turn my hand and my pointer goes under the yarn just here. Now my index finger and my thumb are going to come over and just lightly hold the yarn near the hook. And the closer to the hook you hold it, so lightly holding that knot at the moment. And the closer you hold it to the hook, the easier it is to guide your project. And we are working with this yarn here, between our pointer and our thumb, and our pinky's just, and here it's just holding the yarn for the tension. Right, so you don't want it, nothing's tight, it's just this bit maybe is just nice and straight, but nothing's really tight, it's just holding it firmly so you can work on your project. Alrighty, let's get started. We're going to chain 2. So to chain 2 we go yarn over, so it's under the yarn. Pull that yarn back through the loop that is on your hook. That's one chain. Now we're going to go under the yarn one more time, or over, so it's called yarn over in crochet. So yarn over and pull that back through the loop that is on your hook, and now you have 2 chains. Okay, the pattern says to put 6 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So what does that mean? This is our hook. This is our first chain, which is close to the hook. If we were to work in this chain, our work would just undo. So we always want to work in the second chain from the hook. So here's our hook, chain 1, chain 2. So it's the one with the closest to the knot, the slip knot. And you might find it easier where that slip knot's going through to make that chain. Just pull out that bottom loop a little bit. You can tighten later, and that way you can see where to work. Right, we're going to put all our stitches for the first round into this hole. So we're doing 6 single crochets. So what we do is we turn and we put our hook into that chain stitch, into the hole we made. We're going to pull it tight later, so don't worry about that. Then we're going to yarn over, so we're pulling that yarn back through the stitch. So we now have 2 loops on our hook, 1, 2. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on our hook, and that is our first single crochet. Now we want to do that 5 more times. So into that same chain stitch, we're making a circle. So into that same, where we made that hole at the start, into that same, put your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull it back through that stitch, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 2. So into that chain stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on a hook, 2 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through both loops on a hook, and that's 3. So 3 single crochets. We've got 3 more to do. Into that same spot, into the same chain stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. 4, now do 2 more, doing exactly the same thing. 5 and 6. So that is the first round of our bunny. We're working on his nose at the moment. Okay, that's the first round. Right, we're now going to start working into our stitches, so into the stitches that we made. So you're looking for this, each stitch has a front loop and a back loop. So you're looking for the first stitch, the first front loop and back loop, which is just here. You're going to put your hook under both those loops. Okay, we're going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 6 stitches. Okay, so holding our yarn, pinky, hooks the yarn there, turn your hand, pointer. Now your index finger and your thumb's just going to hold your work, and the closer you hold it to the hook, the easier it is to work. So now we're putting our hook into that first stitch. So remember, going under both the front loop and the back loop. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 1. We're putting 1 into every stitch around. So going into the next stitch now, looking for the front loop and the back loop. So you're putting a stitch under both those loops, then yarn over, so putting our hook under both those loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's our second single crochet. Keep going for 6. We want to do 6, so all 6 stitches. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull it back through the stitch, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's 3, and keep going, doing it into the next stitch, all the way around, all single crochets. So this is now number 5, and then into the very last stitch of our round. Alright, we just did round 2. Now don't worry if the center opens up a little bit, we're going to pull that tight soon and sew in our end. So now on to round 3. This time it's an increasing round, so that means we're going to make our nose and the head of our bunny a little bit bigger. So this time we want to put, instead of doing 1 single crochet into every stitch, we're going to do 2. So we want to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch all the way around until we have 12 stitches. So you find the first stitch of our round, going under both those loops, putting our hook under both those loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's our first stitch. We want to put our second stitch into the same spot, so going into that same stitch from the previous round. Then we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 2. And if you want, you can get your stitch marker. You're going to put it on the very first stitch of this round. And we're going to do 2 stitches into every stitch all the way back to our stitch marker, and we should have 12 stitches. That's why the stitch marker is quite handy. It's good to count as well, but it's handy if you have your stitch marker. So we're going into the next stitch now. We're doing another single crochet, so into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both. Going into the same stitch, because we want 2 in every stitch, doing exactly the same thing, doing another single crochet, so into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook. That's 2. So we're now, sorry, that's 2 stitches into that 1 stitch. That we're now on the 4th stitch of our round. Now we're going into the next stitch, so this will be stitch number 5. Doing all single crochets, just putting 2 into every stitch. So 5 and 6, it goes into the 1 stitch. Okay, now moving on to the next stitch and putting another 2. Just putting 2 single crochets into every stitch around, and you'll find that you'll have 12 at the end. And you can count it if you like. So this would be 9 and 10. Then 11 and 12 into the last stitch. Alright, so we remove our stitch marker now. We can count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So you start to see that you're making the bunny nose. We are now going to do one single crochet, so just one this time, into every stitch around for all 12 stitches. So just one single crochet to every stitch from the previous round. Alright, so we just did round 3, we're now on to round 4. So the previous round is round 3, so we're working to round 3. So we put our stitch into, we put our hook into that first stitch of round 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both, and we're just putting one into every stitch, and you get your stitch marker. And put it in the first stitch, and now we're just going to go one single crochet into every stitch all the way around back to our stitch marker, so that would be for 12 stitches. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both, so that's 2. Into the third stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops and a hook, yarn over, pull through both, 3. Now we're going to keep going, all single crochets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alrighty. Round 5 is 2. It's another increasing round, so we're making our head a little bit bigger again. So it's 2 single crochets into the first stitch from the previous round, so into the first stitch for the round. So 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next, and then you're just going to repeat that combination all the way around until we have 18 stitches. So 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, all the way around until we have 18 stitches. Okay, so we're putting 2 single crochets into this first stitch. That's 2. You can put your stitch marker back in if you like. Now we're putting 1 single crochet into the next, 2 single crochets, then 1, now 2, just repeating this combination. It's the 3 times tables all the way up to 18. Then 1, now 2, then 1 single crochet, now 2, and then 1, then 2, and now 1, and you should find that you have 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right. At this point, we're going to turn our work inside out. We're going to pull the tail nice and tight. We're going to get our tapestry needle and we're going to weave in that end to make the base of our bunny's nose secure. It's to stop it from coming undone. So you're just going in and out of the stitches here, pulling it nice and tight. Just in and out, weaving it out, in and out. There's no right or wrong. Just securing the base of our project. And once you feel like it's secure enough, you can then trim it. All right, so we'll trim. You can leave a bit of an end. You're not going to see it. It's going to be on the inside. All right. Okay. We're now up to round 6 to 8. It's 1 single crochet to every stitch around for all 18 stitches, and we're going to do that 3 times. So it's for 3 rounds. Just putting 1 single crochet all the way around, and you're going to do that 3 times. So going into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that's your first single crochet. So you're just going to do that in every stitch, 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around for the 18 stitches, and just repeat that for 3 rounds, and I will get back to you at the end of round 8. Alright, just completed round 8. Now we're going to pause here and we're going to embroider our bunny's nose and eyes. So we need some rainbow yarn and you'll need some brown yarn. So just, I like to double my thread when I'm embroidering. So just cut off a bit of your yarn and double it. Doubling kind of makes it pop out a little bit more, also makes it go a little bit faster. So just keep the white out of the way because we're going to continue crocheting with that. We're going to do our bunny nose instead of putting our, just kind of look around, look at my, they all come out a little bit different. I just try and look for the nicer side for my face and go where I think will be the cutest. I'll go this side, so I'm just going to put it into the very start, our stitch. We're working on the nose, the very start of our bunny, right at the point, and then I leave a tail so that we can knot that off later. And I'm going up 2 rounds. So the dots kind of equal another row or another round. So there's 1, 2. So I'm going up 2. Just try and keep your strands organized because trust me, when they get tangled it is very, very frustrating. So I'm going back into the same stitch at the start, back into the bunny at the start of the bunny's nose, and I'm going up into the same stitch. And now, because I want the bunny's nose to have a little bit of a heart shape, I'm going to go 1 stitch over, and I'm going to put my thread into that stitch there. And keeping these threads organized, I'm going back into the end of the bunny's nose into the same spot. And I'm going to do that 1 more time. And now if you're happy with that, and I'm quite happy with that, I am going to go up to, so I'm going, the eyes are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between rows 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put my eye here, and they're 3 stitches apart. So I actually might go down a row. It really does depend. It's completely up to you where you want it. no, I think I would have put it there. So I did row 5 1. Okay. And then you're going up 1 row to the row above. And then you're going to, I do this about 3 times in the same stitch, just going around into the same stitch, keeping your ends free from tangles. And once you're happy with it, I'm going to skip 3 stitches, so and just go by the crochet has naturally forms little holes, so I'm just skipping 3 those holes, 1 2 3, and I'm going to put my other eye over here, and we're going up a row, and the same thing, we're going to do it 3 times around. Alright. Once you're happy with that, and I'm quite happy with my bunny's eyes there and how they're looking, I'm going to cut the rainbow end off. Just leave the end for now. We will knot that off in a minute. I'm going to get a little bit of brown. Once again, I'm going to double it. And this just gives it, just makes the eyes pop out a little more, puts a little catch light there. Okay, so just keep these organized. And now I'm just going, this time I'm going in the same spot as the eye, exact same stitches, but I'm only going around once this time. I'm also going to leave a tail so that I can knot the rainbow and the brown together. So leave a bit of a tail, and then just you want to guide it to where I would like the yarn to land. So I'm just kind of guiding it with my finger, and I'm going into the same stitch, but because I want it to go to the side of the rainbow bit, I'm just going to put my thumb there to make sure it does that. Yeah, quite happy with that. And now I'm going to go to the other one. I only do it once. And we're going to into the same stitch as the other eye, so exact same stitch as the eyes as the rainbow. Guide your yarn around, and then just pull it through. Once you, yes, I'm quite happy with that. So you can redo it if you're not. You can have another go. I just trim that now. What you're going to find is that you're going to have a rainbow and a brown strand on one side and rainbow and brown strands on the other. So I'm going to knot the rainbow and the brown together. And the first knot I do firm. I don't do it too tight because it pulls the features in at the front, and I don't want to do that completely. So just nice and firm. Now the next 2 knots, I always knot 3 times. The next 2 knots are as tight as it can possibly do it, because you don't want the eyes coming undone. Okay, and once you've knotted that, you can trim your yarn off now. And those ends will just tuck in and become part of the filling, so don't worry about them. Now go to the other strands. So we're knotting the rainbow and the brown together. And once again, I do the first knot firm but not too tight, because I don't want to muck up my face in the front. Now the next 2 knots are as tight as I can possibly do it. 1 and 2. Well, sorry, that was 3 knots, but that was my second tight one. Now trim it and then just tuck it in. It's going to become part of the filling, and there you go. There's your bunny's nose and face, and starting to take personality. Alrighty, we're now on to round 9 and we're going to start closing the head of our bunny and filling it with stuffing. So we're now on to decreasing rounds. So round 9 is single crochet decrease, then a normal single crochet, and we're going to repeat that combination of stitches all the way around until we have 12 stitches. So it's a decrease, normal single crochet, decrease, normal single crochet, all the way around back to the start until we have 12 stitches. So we're essentially joining 2 stitches together. So you go into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then you go into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're joining those 2 together. You now have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now if you want, when you can find it, you can put your stitch marker in here to keep your spot. Now we're just doing a normal single crochet now, so into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both. Now we're doing another decrease, so into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and join, pull through all 3 and join that stitch together. So doing a normal single crochet now, so into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both. Now a decrease, so into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now a normal single crochet, and we're just repeating this stitch combination until we get back to our stitch marker. So this is a decrease now. And then a normal single crochet. Then a decrease. And then a normal single crochet, then a decrease, and then a normal single crochet, and you should find that you have 12 stitches. And if you don't, if you've got more, just do another decrease. It doesn't matter if you've got less, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. We're now going to start putting a little bit of stuffing into the head of our bunny. Just push it in there. Don't have a tendency to overfill it. Don't want to overfill it. You just want it nice and squishy so that it gives the bunny a nice shape. Alrighty, we're now going to close the back of our head now. So this is round 10, and every stitch around now is a decrease. So we're doing 6 decreases. So we're joining 6 stitches together until we get to 6. So you're going into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we're doing another decrease, so that's our first, so we're doing 6 decreases. That was our first decrease. We're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, pull through all 3. You can put your stitch marker back in if you like to keep track. I tend to count when it starts. I tend to just count when it gets to this because it's getting a bit small. So that's the second decrease. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, pull through all 3 loops. So that's our third. we're doing our 4th decrease. So we're just closing the back of our bunny's head. And then our fifth one. Alrighty. And then our last decrease. Right. We are now going to cut our yarn, leave enough of the tail so you can sew up the hole in the back of the head. You get, we just yarn over and pull that all the way through. Pull it tight. And we get our tapestry needle now. And remember how at the start we talked about the loops having a front loop and a back loop? This time we just want to use the front loop because it just closes the back of the head nice. So just putting your needle into the front loop only, then going over and around and back into the front loop of the next stitch. So we're doing this 6 times into the front loop. I'm only doing the front loops of, I'm going into every stitch. So all of the 6 stitches, all the way around. And now you can pull the hole closed, just like that. So it closes it really nice. And then I always like to knot it off about 3 times as always, just to secure it so it won't come undone. This time you can pull all 3 knots really tight because it's not affecting the face. One more. All right, now we can weave. See, just weaving the end of our yarn in and out of the back of the head of the bunny. Just tucking it away, making sure everything's nice and secure and finished off. There's no right or wrong, in and out until you feel like it's secure. And then you get your scissors and you cut it really close to the head so you can't see it. And that is our bunny's head. Thank you for watching this tutorial. We will work on the body and in the next tutorial, and in the 3rd tutorial we'll do the ears and the arms and the tail. I hope you've enjoyed it, and please stay with me for the other tutorials to finish.